fellas. So, it was actually Brian's question the other day.
Brian Keith?
Yeah. It came out of nowhere.
Came out of nowhere.
So I thought this would be an excellent discussion topic for us, which is basically like gym etiquette. So, first question we came up with is, do you feel like it's appropriate to approach somebody in the gym, right? Let's say somebody's on the squat rack, they're doing their thing. Is it appropriate, do you think it's okay for that person to come up and ask to get in, to work in with you? Do you feel like that's like I said,
like
a
a
viable
good
way
thing?
to,
Yeah.
like is it okay to just like
Okay to
approach
ask
like
somebody,
that? Yeah.
can I work in with you?
Yeah.
When they're on yeah. So my hot take is yes, absolutely, all the time. Why would it not be okay to ask that question? I think is better, right? Because if you need a particular piece of equipment and someone's on it, you have no idea how much longer they're going to be on it or why they're going to be on it or what. But if you see them doing the same exact movement you're doing, you're relatively the same height and ability, then like absolutely save the gym the hassle of trying to find more equipment and just work in. And then obviously you might make a new workout buddy, right? Like, I don't know.
Absolutely. Yeah. I don't think you're wrong. Yeah. What do you think, Joe?
I guess it depends on whether or not, like you were saying, if same height. It's circumstantial at that point too, man. I mean, and also that if the place is crowded, like, I don't think you shouldn't have to sit here and hope that someone be nice enough to let you work in with them if it's a crowded gym.
Sure.
But however, if it's not crowded and if you seek out that specific rack, it's kind of one of those things where, like, okay, we have multiple racks here. Like, you could have set yours up over there. Like, why did you choose to come to this one, And then also, you could be throwing somebody off on their in the middle of their set or anything like that. So I guess it depends on when you approach them about it and also how you approach them about it. But if I wouldn't approach someone who is obviously like a lot taller than me, they're farther along in the weight than I would be able to lift with them, because I don't want to have to make us both have to work more at loading and deloading, adjusting the rack heights and stuff like that. But also, I wouldn't tell anyone no, because at the end of the day, I'd rather share it no matter what. Like, we're all here to do the same thing. Like, as long as we're not here to sit here and just talk the entire time, then I have no problem you coming in and jumping in and working sets, So I've had to do that before plenty of times in here, so.
Sure. I mean, it's very cordial of you guys. And I think you bring up a very good point. It's just like, is there multiple pieces of equipment? So it's like, does that kind of change this up? It's like, okay, would that be weird if, okay, you're in a gym with 8 squat racks, this dude comes up to you and you're the only one in a squat rack? Like, is that weird? Like, is this your bush?
Fair enough on that one, yeah. So,
I think that's definitely a big part of it. Like, if the gym's packed, it's just like, okay, I think that's a courtesy. It's just like, hey, if the gym's packed, you gotta let them in. But if there is more equipment available, I guess to me, I would think if there's more equipment available, like, hey man, just set up in the next one. Or like, let's say we have a specific, like, we have a combo rack, right? We have one combo rack. So if someone wants to get on the combo rack, I understand because it's only one. So if that's the circumstance. But if I'm in the rig and someone wants to get on me, it's like, hey man, there's 4 other stations. It's just like, do we really need to?
Right.
Well, so a little more contextual. Like, if you go into a gym and it's super packed, and the only way you're getting in a rack say you got an hour to get in. Yeah. You have to ask somebody, hey, can I work in with you?
Sure.
So it's totally okay.
I guess it depends on how you approach them too as well.
Yeah, absolutely. How do you ask the question?
But if you just walk over there and just
is it okay? So is it rude for the person? Like, okay, let's say you guys came up to me and you asked, could you get in? And I said no. Would that be rude? Would you guys be upset?
Like kind of reverse.
Okay.
Like, let's just say I'm really focused. I'm in my workout. I said, no, man, I'm sorry.
No, it's
like, would that be inappropriate?
Like all things, it depends on how you say it, right? Like, if I walk up to you and it's a busy gym, right? Sure. Like, all the check marks are hit for, I need to work in with somebody. Yeah. And I walk up to you and you're like, no. I'm going to be like, what an ass, dude. Right. But if you're like, I got to be at this weight.
How dare you?
You son of, you're beneath me. But if you're like, oh man, I'm at this weight, I've got like 2 more sets, I'm staying really strict on my rest time, it's going to be difficult. Would you mind holding off and just sitting close by this rack so you can get it as soon as I'm done?
Sure.
Then I like the context of that explanation. I'm going to be like, oh yeah, no problem, dude. I'll warm up more or something, or I'll do another movement first. But if you just look at me dead in the eye and you're like, I will kill you, I'm probably going to be like, that dude. not messing with him anymore.
But he could be a good workout partner now.
No, maybe.
With somebody like that who's already that far into it, you're like, I might need to get that kind of intensity level. So, hey man, like, what is it you just did?
Yeah, no, like, I'm gonna bug you more. Be like, okay, go on.
Is that a good pre-workout to have somebody approach me like, hey man, I squat with you? Like, yes.
Yeah. I don't think I would mind so much, but I do find though, unfortunately, because anytime I do work out with, and this isn't at TriFit, like TriFit, everybody's pretty good about like, hey, I'm going to do the weight that is appropriate for me. But in some of these bigger gyms, global gyms, like, you know, when I was in Michigan, I was working out, some dude worked in with me on the bench press. The whole time he's trying to keep up with me, and it's just like two different skill levels, two different levels of strength, and it's just like, and he's almost getting to the point where it's just like, hey man, like, you're almost risking your health to try to keep up, like, yeah, I think gauge the room, gauge the person. It's just like, hey, if someone's you know over there squatting 700, I'm probably not going to go ask to jump in.
No,
it's just like,
I'm not going to make you deal it, or if like, well, it's like the combo rack makes it nice, but I think you and I, even when we were squatting together back at the old gym, it was we couldn't adjust the rack, we'd have to move it up or down. Yeah. Like, I mean, I like kind of going low out of the rack, so I even think like Joe and I would probably be better together. Mm-hmm. So like, you kind of have these check marks like going down the list. Like, is it busy? Is the dude the same height? Dude or girl the same height as me? Would we work in together well? Is the weight appropriate? How long are they?
That's
like
true,
for both of us, maybe.
I feel like you can check those boxes just by like looking at it and getting all that information pretty quickly. It's not like you need to bring out a pen and paper and.
I think the best way that I've ever had to do it to approach it was to after gauging all those checklist points, I walked up and instead of asking like, "Hey man, can I jump in with you?" It's more like, "Hey man, like how many more sets?"
That's a much more common question.
Like, how many more sets do you have? You know, if so, like not to rush. I just want to make sure. Otherwise, like if you don't mind, could I jump in with you? Mm-hmm. You know, and again, sometimes that gets taken out of context. Like you don't want to make them feel like you're rushing them to hurry up. Right. It's just more along the lines of knowing where you are, like possibly, because that's helped me out. Like, okay, I know how much warm up time I possibly have before even going. I can warm up in another rack, or I can just do like simple warm up mobility work before actually going in and getting on the bar. So if I know for a fact that he's still got like 2 or 3 sets, got plenty of time. But if it's one of those things where he's going to be there a while, that helps me out even as well. So
that's true. Yeah, if he's got one more set, it's just like might as well just kind of jump in.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Well, that was my kind of gym etiquette question.
Well, so that made me think about, I think Joe was talking, what I've noticed a trend is, and I did it myself, and I didn't really think about it, but you have that one rack in the gym that you really like, and do you all develop that like relationship with that one piece of equipment? You're like you look forward to it the whole day, and then you get in there and it's like, it's being you. Exactly. Like I'll just be like, I'm not gonna like try and jump in, but I'll wait for it. Like it's okay, you know. Like I'll take my time. I got all the time in the world to be
exactly.
Good,
I can always find more warm up stuff to do.
Right.
Or sometimes you can rearrange the order. It really depends on the day, you know.
But is that a good thing to have? I don't think it is a good thing to develop this like relationship with this one rack in the gym, and like you go in there and it's taken up by like
or favorite bar.
Yeah, like you should immediately be like, no worries, I'm switching to another piece of equipment.
Sure.
And I'm getting my work done.
It becomes too mentally dependent.
You're like really dependent.
They're all 45-pound bars. What does it matter if one has a little bit more knurling than the other one?
Right,
like, why should that affect your entire workout? You know? So.
Well, as powerlifters, we become quite divas when it comes to. I like things a very certain way, you know, especially when we get beat into our brains. Specificity. It has to be so specific to what we're going to do. So you got to use the squat bar if you're USPA. You got to use the deadlift bar if you're USPA. You got to use the Ohio State bar if you're USAPL. And it's like, but you can train with both. At the end of the day, you're still training.
Yeah, it's still progressive overload. You're still doing the movement, right? And you're not doing it in competition,
right?
So the in-gym equipment is going to be just as good.
Yeah.
Right?
Like I always think of like these videos that pop up on like lifting pages where it's like these guys out in like Africa and like in other like countries where they just don't have access to like
and cement blocks.
Yeah, dude, or they make it out of like a tree. It's literally just trunks of trees and it's just like hanging on a pulley. I'm like, that is badass because like care less about the style and the equipment and all this stuff. Like some people will not sign up at a gym if they do not have a certain type of fabric on the pad. It's like man, when do we become so bougie?
Yeah,
that's that's a first world fucking problem if I've ever heard one. Yeah.
And why is it like powerlifting is like the not grungiest but not dirtiest, but you know what I mean? It's like the most like fundamental. You're squatting, you're benching, and you're deadlifting. Mm-hmm. You could literally do that with any all foundations is built off of that. It's not some like fancy I need all the accessories, although we all have all the accessories.
Yeah, right.
It's like, it literally, you could just pick up rocks from the floor and develop your deadlifting skills.
Totally, yeah.
And have that translate to a barbell just as well.
Or even, I obviously, we all love to train in a way that is, like, more difficult sometimes than the competition standards.
Sure.
So, right?
Yeah,
so it's like, to some degree, it's just like, hey, if you go pick up a boulder and you learn how to grip a fucking rock, I promise you, go pick up this perfectly designed bar for the palm of a hand.
Yeah,
it's going to be a lot easier,
right.
So just take it, yeah. But yeah, I mean, gym etiquette it's funny. It's just like asking a question like that. I think for some people, and I would love to get feedback from people watching this. Like,
please,
it would be inappropriate. I definitely know some people
would
that would
be
be like,
inappropriate?
Would be very upset if someone was to approach them and say, "Hey, can I work in?" Like, how dare you? Like, you're interrupting my time, my routine. Some guys get that's the spectrum of okay, we'll stick with powerlifters, right? You get powerlifters that are like, hey man, I'm having fun, I enjoy it, I work with what I got, all the way up to I have to do it exactly like this. I have to put on my knee sleeves exactly at this time. I have to approach the racket exactly like they get so obsessed with all the details that they almost kind of narrow to a tunnel vision. And then I think those people become hard to train around.
Right,
you know what I mean?
Right. When you get so, I think you lose the you lose the bigger picture of what is actually causing progress for you at the gym, and that is the slow, progressive overload, just slowly adding weight to the bar over weeks and weeks and weeks. And the bar and everything else doesn't matter nearly as much as just that underlying principle.
Yeah. I mean, I probably would say there is circumstances. I probably would say no.
Sure.
There's probably one or two.
Yeah.
It would be I would have to gauge the person, depending on if I'm okay. Like I hit a squat PR this week, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I got to load up a certain amount of plates. I don't want to do the extra work of unloading and loading up the plates, right? If someone came over and they're just like, hey, can I jump in there? I'd be like, hey man, it's a big day for me. I really got to focus. Like I really want to just stick with what I got a certain rack height, yada yada. That would be probably one of those times I'd be like, sorry, brother, not today, but I would be courteous.
Yeah, exactly. But that doesn't mean that
you don't got to create enemies.
The person still can't ask. Doesn't mean that they cannot ask that question of like, hey, can I work in with you?
Yeah.
It's up to you to have that proper response of, hey, I've got all this stuff going on. I hope you understand, but I can't have you work in with me right now.
Right.
And then that person's got to say, sweet, that's totally fine. I understand. Yeah. Thank you for considering me.
Yeah, right. I mean? Next time, we'll get in workout next time.
Yeah. Maybe it's just all the caffeine and the pre-workout and the hyped, like...
Sure.
Like, I don't know. I feel like also it's one of those things that, like, particularly like the evenings that people, they get off of work, maybe they have bad days, they seem a little more gruff or whatever. This is a stress reliever. Yeah. And people seem a little, like, wound up, but that's the point. Like, that's the point of the gym, is to release some of that energy. And
maybe that's a good topic for the next one, as we talk about like, should you take everything that's said in the gym super serious? Like, like, are there times where it's just like you got to just brush it off? Because I know I've definitely come across a little more aggressive.
Sure.
Just catch me at just.
But you just squatted 600 pounds and you're out of breath.
Yeah.
Cut the man a break.
And then someone wants to ask me, it's just like, what happened there? I don't want to talk about it just yet. I gotta fucking chill. You know what I mean? So yeah. But
well, got anything else to add?
Yeah? Fair enough with that one. Save it for the next one.
Yeah.
Ask the question. Be kind. Be courteous. Be a human being.
Yeah.
As always.
Give us your input.
Yeah.
Don't be
comments.
Yeah. Please comment, like, subscribe. Let us know if you guys would ask the question of whether or not you would work in with somebody. Also, be sure to check out our hyped video and discussion. Joe and I talked about ammonia and all that good stuff before lift on our last YouTube video, and maybe we'll talk about some more gym etiquette in the next one. Cheers, gentlemen.
Cheers, fellas.
Cheers.
To heart
Yay,
attacks.
caffeine.
Salud.
Later, guys.